Okay, good evening YouTube and welcome to the next live stream from the FPL family. This is episode number 54, would you believe? 54. My name is Lee, this is Sam, and I am in an incredibly good mood. An incredibly good mood.
You were in a slightly better mood about 80 minutes.
Wow, yeah. It was two really silly goals, wasn't it? Two really silly goals, but do not let that detract from what was. Guys, tell me what you think in the live chat. One of the best, certainly best Liverpool performances I've seen in a very long time. But one of the best European, semi-final, one of the best semi-final performances that I've seen from a football team in a very long time. I mean, a lot was being said on BT Sport about how Roma were defending and leaving 3-on-3 and leaving big gaps, but you've got to exploit those gaps and you've got to play what's in front of you. And I thought Liverpool were, and obviously unbiased, but I thought we were fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Well, to be fair, I think probably most of our viewers heard you yesterday. You were that loud during the game.
It was awful, wasn't it? Because obviously the kids were asleep upstairs. I'm trying to suppress it.
Well, you didn't suppress it at all.
Yeah, I know.
You were just going mental. And for I think it was the second goal, I'd gone in the kitchen. I've been asked nicely to make another cup of tea.
Yeah.
So I'd gone off into the kitchen and then all I heard was this, Sam, from the living room, and I come flying back in. There's been another goal. He's prancing about.
So and when it's already on, LA, absolutely. I've been singing that all day. I've been singing that all day.
Literally, honestly, he's only just stopped as he's hit the go live button. He's been sitting here getting the stream ready, singing.
And actually, in preparation for this, I was going through a few different podcasts. So I was listening to Who Got the Assist earlier today, of course, and congratulations to Nick from Who Got the Assist. I don't know if we've said this before on our vlogs. I think we may have done. But he had a little boy called Moses.
I'm not sure if we mentioned Moses. We talked about Joseph, Chris's little boy, but I'm not sure if we ever mentioned that Moses had been born.
If we have, we have. If we haven't, then congratulations to Nick from Who Got the Assist. That is excellent news, mate. We wish you all the best, of course. So I was listening to their pod, so most of what I'm going to say tonight is regurgitated from their fantastic pod. Brilliant. So Tom, as usual, was kind of holding the fort. We had a couple of guest speakers. He had another guy called Tom from one of the Twitter handles called 90 Minutes at a Time. It's a really good football blogging platform. So you guys that haven't checked out 90 Minutes at a Time, definitely go and do that on Twitter. And also he had Alex Waterbaby from Twitter as well. So those guys did a magnificent job actually of holding the fort in. He's already there, is he? Oh, there he is. So those guys did an incredible job holding the fort in Nick's absence. So I was listening to those guys, and then I was listening to the Three Amigos as well. And just as Dale was kicking off, or maybe it was Marple that was kicking off, Mars is on there. He's a Liverpool fan that I follow and that we talk to each other quite a bit on Twitter. And he just completely interrupted the introduction and just got going, ole, ole, ole. I just thought, fantastic. It's brilliant.
Well, quite frankly, I'm surprised you didn't do that tonight.
I think the guys have had enough of my singing. We've had the whole Madonna thing. We're not going back there again. But what the one thing we can say, and I think it was Luke Walkinshaw saying on the live chat, it was a stunning game. A stunning game. And actually, we do need to watch. And to be fair, we do need to now review it, because despite it not being obviously an FPL game, the ramifications for FPL, particularly in the next game week on this Stoke game, which we've spoken about on these vlogs before as being a real plum home tie. But what does he do? Does he rotate? Well, the two goals mean that possibly the tie is now a bit more in the balance. At 5-0, it's done. He puts a full team out against Stoke, doesn't he? And rests them in Rome. But now, can't do it.
Rest them in Rome? I don't know about that. But I was, at 5-0, I was thinking, we're likely to see Salah now on that Stoke game. Because,
yes, absolutely. And you're the captain
because of the golden boot and all of that malarkey. So I was thinking,
and fourth is not mathematically done yet,
and it's not done. So I was thinking, we'll see Salah, but we might get some rest from some of the, particularly off the back of obviously Oxlade-Chamberlain getting injured. So we might see some rest from.
Yeah, that's bad. That's
and out for the World Cup as well. It's a real shame.
Yeah, ligaments, right?
Knee ligaments. Yeah,
bad news.
So I was sort of thinking, there'll be some rest there, particularly with those key midfielders that are now going to be important for you moving forward.
Yeah.
So then to lose those two goals in the way that you did, I think it massively changes things from an FPL point of view. And you have to now think about this rotation as an issue again, because whilst that Stoke game is a lovely game, and you would think, Stoke at home, that should be a nice easy victory for Liverpool. You should be thinking, I'll get a Liverpool defender.
Without any Champions League, if we were out the Champions League, it's Salah captain, forget it, right? Done.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think he's going to play?
Yeah.
I do as well.
And
I do as well.
I think the two reasons I think he's going to play. Firstly, he actually did get a bit of a rest last night. Went off on 70 minutes, didn't he?
Which is when it started falling apart, actually, incidentally. But yes.
Yeah, so he did get a bit of a rest last night. So I do think from that point of view, sorry, I just decided I needed a tissue at that precise moment in time.
And you've also, look, what you've done is you've kind of... There's a tissue on the camera. You are absolutely...
Put it over there.
Get it over there, come on.
Right. So, because he did have a bit of a rest for 20 minutes or so last night, and then you're right, it did all fall apart when he went off. But I do think, and I know that we, between you and I, have been laughing and joking about all this golden boot nonsense and the banter that Liverpool players have been giving Harry Kane and whatever.
Pretty cool though, eh? For one of your star player and our star player to be up against each other for the golden boot. We haven't had that in our house for a little while, have we? So
maybe not ever.
Maybe not ever. So that's very good.
And so I think, from that point of view, Salah has made it very clear that he wants to win the golden boot. And actually, this is from me.
Klopp says it's about the team, it's about qualification, not about individual awards.
Of course.
Did you see Klopp, what he said after, he did a little video message to Salah after he won the PFA Player of the Year. He more or less said, well done, but we're playing Tuesday, so get back over here sharpish, didn't he?
Well, I think for me, all of those things that you've just said are true, but Salah is so integral to your team. And him winning the Golden Boot, basically is what is going to qualify you for the Champions League, let's be honest. He's the one that's driving force in your team, and we saw that when he went off on 70 minutes last night.
Absolutely.
So I don't think he can afford to not play him at the weekend.
So let's pause for breath there, because I get the feeling we're going to spend a reasonable amount of the next hour talking about Mohamed Salah, because he's a big deal. He's
a big deal.
This guy is class. I mean, a few months and weeks back, I was sitting here talking about who's the best Liverpool player I've ever seen in a red shirt.
Right.
And for years and years, it was Steven Gerrard, always my favourite player. Bit biased, clearly, because he's a club legend.
But you're not going to say you like Salah more than Gerrard?
Well, no, Gerrard is still, I think, my favourite player of my era. If that's
your era? How old are you?
It sound old, didn't it? Go on, yeah. Ian Rush was my favourite of
my era. Goodness me.
So Stevie,
I'm married to an ancient man.
So Stevie G is still my favourite player. However, the best player that I've ever seen in a Liverpool shirt up to this season was Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez was phenomenal. He used to win games on his own. He made players like Sturridge look good, and Sterling, despite the fact he's gone on to be a very, very, very good player, he was 18, 19, and Suarez was making him look like world class. So Suarez was the best player. Maybe not my favourite because he was a bit of a loose cannon, but he was definitely the best player I've seen in Liverpool shirt. I'm starting to question that now. In fact, I have completely questioned it. I mean, Mo Salah is absolutely unbelievable. I'm not going to sit here and wax lyrical anymore about him because we're going to run out of words, and we want to say hello to a few people before we get started on it. So I want to hear from you guys in terms of what you're going to do with Salah now. A lot of eyes are going to be on the Anfield Express Twitter handle again.
Are they still up and running at the moment?
They are still, as far as I'm aware, up and running. They didn't leak any news for last night, but they did come out and say we're not going to leak any news for last night. And as an FPL community, we're sitting there going, that's cool. We're okay with that.
As long as you leak news on Saturday.
Yeah, we're okay with that, but come back Saturday. Yeah, that was basically the premise. And you can see the Roma game is huge. It's huge games, Champions League semi-final. So clearly they're not going to leak any team news. But from what I've seen of their posts and stuff on Twitter, they're quite an integral part of the FPL community now. They're getting followers left, right, and centre, right?
They are.
They have said that there will be some team news in preparation for Saturday. So you kind of have to, given their track record, you kind of go with it, right? So we're all sitting here talking and debating about whether we have Salah or not. The reality is you've probably got 24 hours to decide what you want to do, which is plenty of time.
I've already taken a points hit this week, so I'm sincerely...
we're going to come to that in a minute.
I'm sincerely hoping that they don't come back and say that Salah's not playing, because I'll have to take another one.
You've done points hits already. Oh, I can't wait to get to that. Right.
I'm not telling you. I'll tell everyone else. You have to close your ears.
All right. Yeah, okay. Okie dokie. Right, let's say hello to a few people. 33 of you in so far. Thank you all for joining, guys.
Is Jamal... Is he still talking to Michelle, or have we got his attention?
I think he's only partly with us tonight.
Right,
I think he's
he's dating again, is he?
There was already a Tindery sort of, hi Michelle, how you doing, my love, moment going on. So there's
we've only got half of Jamal's attention.
I think we've got Jamal's attention, but let's see. You've also got 99% of our attention. The 1% is to our left, where Real Madrid are currently beating Bayern in Germany 2-1. So
of course, Lee's particularly interested in this because.
Well, yes, absolutely, and I haven't haven't seen any of the game, guys. By the way, I haven't seen any of the game. Just literally come in from work.
Came running in the door. Was like, I've got to set up a stream.
Yeah, I had to put a tweet that said, we've got some technical issues. We didn't really. The technical issues was I couldn't get the stream up fast enough because I said to you guys 9:15 and I'm struggling. But it looks as if Real Madrid are in the driving seat for this game with 2 away goals. I mean, that is going to be very hard for Bayern to overturn in the Bernabeu. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's looking like they could be potentially, if we get through, our opponents in the final. But listen, we will.
Let's say hello.
We will say hello, and if something happens in that game, I'm sure you guys in the live chat will tell us before we even say it on the screen.
I'm likely to see it at the corner of my eye when I'm looking at you.
So let's say hello to a few people. Andrew Yee is here. He says the next big idea, FPL Tinder. On to something there, Andrew. He's on to something. Start that one up. That's a handle.
I don't know if we could get away with setting that up though. We're married.
No, as a married couple, that would be a bad thing to do. I think Josh Chelling is here. Hey guys,
Hi,
we'll
Josh.
be across in a second. Just watching the rest of the rail game. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that I'll waffle. Well, let's waffle for 7 minutes or so and say hello to a few people.
Is that all it's got left? I literally can't see the numbers.
83, yeah, 83.
Oh yeah.
So
we can definitely waffle for 7 minutes, Josh. Come back in 7 minutes.
We can waffle for 7 hours. Don't by 7 minutes.
We won't have talked about anything important. Leah will still be saying hello to people. We'll be debating whether
we'll still
Jamal
be
and Michelle were
evangelising and eulogising about Mo Salah, won't we? We'll still be talking about how good he is in 7 minutes. So once that game finishes, we may or may not get a few more viewers. Let's see. Cy Greggs is here. Great goal from both fullbacks. So I haven't seen the game. Side, but I'll take your word for that. Michelle Deere saying, "Good Lord, FPL Tinder." Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right.
So she's loving the idea.
Simon,
it's our first FPL marriage we've got going on there.
I think we're the first, aren't we?
Well, I meant that's made through FPL.
Okay, all right, okay.
We don't count. We were married before.
Never had you down as a sort of matchmaking sort of person, but maybe.
You never know.
So of course, Mr. Rice is here. Mr. Rice is here. Jamal, good evening. Hope you're well. Rivershan is here. Jeff is here as usual. Welcome, Jeff.
Evening, Jeff. 1 point in it between me and Jeff.
It's close, isn't it?
Beating him by 1 at the moment.
Are you beating him by 1?
I'm beating him by 1 now.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, it could all change in the weekend, as we know. Could all change. Felix O is here. Ricardo's here. Michelle, of course, is here. Dom J is here.
Of course, I might not be now with my points here. Jeff, you made any points transfers?
Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, you're -4. You're now 3 behind him.
I'm now 3 behind, unless he's made a hit.
Outrageous. PVFC is here. Thank you for joining. PVFC, a new name which I don't think we've heard before, so thank you for joining. Ammonit, as usual, is here. Ammonit, thank you very much for joining. I'm assuming you really enjoyed that game last night, as did I.
He's a Liverpool fan, is he, Ammonit?
He absolutely is. Absolutely is, yes. JC is here. Shamil is here. Thanks for joining, Shamil. Luke Walkinshaw is here. Ricardo's here. All sorts of you guys. So thank you very much for joining.
So what I meant to say to you, do you know, after we showed my Instagram page on Sunday evening, I had 16 new followers.
Oh, nice. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
I know, I was well happy with that. 16 new followers.
Very, very good. Carl is here as well. Carl Sagstead, thanks for joining. And George Page. George Page is a new name. Not heard that before. So, and Mark Johnson as well. So a couple of new names. So guys, thank you for joining. If you like what you see, if you like the videos, make sure you hit that like button, hit that sub button as well. We are close, we say it every week, we're very close to 1k subs and we would love to get there before the end of the season. So if you like the videos, please hit that subscribe button, we'd love you to do that. So Gameweek 36 is upon us, it's here.
It's the final normal game week, I'd say, because you've got double the week after and then it's the last one of the season. That's never normal.
Do you know what, I don't feel like we've had a normal game week for ages. No. I must admit, I've found the last few weeks of FPL brilliant. I think it's been brilliant, and the chips have been really, really great additions to the game. Because what happens in previous seasons, you and I have been playing long enough to know, you get to about week 30, the template's in, everyone's got Ronaldo and captain him every week, or Van Nistelrooy and captain him every week. This was years ago, and that's it. That's it. And you have to really, really go for the differentials and take punts if you're chasing, or you're really looking to consolidate and go template if you're not. And you kind of just go into those two camps. I think what's happened with the chips and all the game, the fixture changes and the mess ups of the last few weeks, it's been ace. It's great.
I really, really enjoyed the bench boost week. I found that really fascinating because there were so many things that happened in that week, so many games, so many players that it was really interesting to watch. I actually found last week really stressful. I found the having, it was a bit. Yeah, it was a bit. The having that much choice. But for only 1 week with so few teams playing, or so few teams I wanted to invest in playing, I found that really hard.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's interesting though, because I've noticed on Twitter a lot of people that are in your position, i.e. they're in a very, very good overall rank, found it stressful because they wanted to pick the right people and not fall down the ranks. But for those of us that are chasing, Oh, it's great fun because you're just having a punt here and a punt there.
Yeah.
I mean, who's getting Baines? No one's getting Baines. So I thought I'd have a punt. 8 points. Brilliant stuff.
For me, I found the whole thing difficult. And it was picking. So I was picking players that I was thinking, they might be useful, but actually, all it's done last week is confused me more for this week. And I don't know. Is Aid in? Is lock on in?
Lock on. I haven't seen him yet, but if he's in, please say hello.
He's been in Paris, so I don't know. He might be. He's on my way on business. I know that because I saw him on his Insta stories.
FPL stalker alert.
Yeah. Well, no, but I follow him back.
Okay.
So I was having a long conversation with him on Sunday night, and I was pondering my transfers, and because obviously Alonso was going down, Jesus was going up, and
yes, I saw that.
I was having a quandary as to what to do, and actually what I wanted to do, I'd had plenty of money left over, so I thought, well, I'll wait until Monday night because I wanted to watch the players that played on Monday in order to make a decision.
Okay.
And so what I found actually off the back of that free hit is that it's caused me more concern and more stress because the thing I thought I was going to do, I've not done. I've done something different, and I've got a player I wasn't anticipating getting. I actually got in one player that I was anticipating and one that I wasn't planning on and hasn't got a double.
This is very cryptic. Do you want to tell us what your
No, I'll tell you later
when
we talk about transfers. Okay. Because not everyone's in yet because they're watching this. And so I've got in a player that's not got a double, and I was not anticipating getting in a player that's not got a double for 37.
That's an interesting tactic. Okay.
And the reason I've done it in the end was I actually took my own advice this time, and last time we had a double I spent a lot of time talking about how don't overlook players that have got a single on the basis that somebody's playing twice if they've got a decent game.
Yeah, I guess if we're gonna take our own advice at the back end of the last double game week, and the last double game week was fraught with rotation, wasn't it? Absolutely fraught, and a lot of people coming out the back end of it going exactly what we were saying. Don't overlook those single game weekers, particularly I think because Liverpool and City were both single.
Yeah.
High scoring games, you can't ignore them. So I guess if we're gonna take that philosophy into 37, you're right not to overlook the single game week.
Yeah, and actually what I was looking for is a cheap defender or a cheaper defender in order that I could free up some money for Jesus, as we all know that's what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I was going to go for a Newcastle defender.
I was just saying you're looking at the TV quite a lot. You need to look at the camera.
I was looking at you I normally look at you when I'm talking.
I knew you weren't looking at me.
I wasn't then. I
was
looking at the TV then.
I'm very used to me talking and you looking straight through me. It's normally about my work, and I start talking about IT, and you're just like, I'm just going to look through you at the TV. So I know, I know when you're looking at something.
So I was going to get a Newcastle defender, but I kind of looked at them on Monday night and thought, I don't really trust you to keep a clean sheet. And then I was looking at the fixtures thinking, well, all right, you've got what should be a nice one in 36 because it's West Brom, but I actually think West Brom, and we'll talk about that when we get to it, I think West Brom have got a good chance in that game. And then in the double, you've got one of their games are against Spurs, and I was like, I don't see a clean sheet there, so why not go for a player from a team that's got a single that I do think will keep a clean sheet.
So we're gonna come to your transfers in a bit. We've spoken
about it. Have you done any?
I haven't yet. Having played my free hit and had a really cool team that I was happy with, I've now got my dross back.
I forgot about Callum Wilson.
There's a load of dross in there, and there's a few that I do want out. But for me, I'm not sure yet whether. I think I know which players I want out, which ones I want in, but I may be just holding off a week. I'm still really concerned about the amount of rotation at City. I'm still not quite sure what's going to happen there. I don't know. We're going to come to transfers in a bit anyway. But I just want to say hello to a few other people. So Jeremy T has joined, as has Vinyl Richard. So Richard, thank you for joining. FPL Cadet is also here as well. And he was saying, have I seen the match of the day graphics? I absolutely have. Very, very good. Very, very good. So if you guys are not following FPL Cadet already on Twitter, definitely go and do that. Did you remember he had the kind of boot room Sky Sports news style graphics?
I really liked that.
So do you want to see the match of the day ones?
Yeah.
Let's take 2 minutes after this because it's really good.
Well, we're waiting for the end of the game anyway, really. So this is a good thing to look at while we wait for everyone else.
The stream actually just said it cut out, but it's now resumed. Hopefully you guys are still all here. Cy Greggs, where's the stream gone? Oh goodness, right, okay.
Are we back?
It does say we're back. So hopefully, guys, that was a glitch in the matrix, and we're back.
Either that or they were fed up with our waffles, they cut us off.
They don't want to see Cadet's graphics. You absolutely do, guys.
I don't think it's Cadet's graphics. I think it was probably that we've been waffling on.
That's probably right. Yeah, probably right. Let's have a look. So FPL Cadet, here he is. Cut for a moment, but back. Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. I genuinely don't know what happened there, but hopefully we're back and we're all good now. So here you go. So you'll like this. So there's his graphics, right? Cool, right? So as well as the whole kind of Sky Sports setup now, we're now on a match of the day theme thing with, there's his last 5 game weeks, green or red arrows, his subs. Good, right?
I want one of them.
Cool, isn't it? Yeah, cool. I like it. So
that's amazing.
Keep that coming, FPL Cadet. We like the look of that, mate. So
it's got some serious skills.
Yeah. Anybody that's not following FPL Cadet, definitely go and do that. That is that's one of my favourite new Twitter handles.
Still love that boot room.
You do, yeah. It's good, isn't it? It's good. It's very, very good. So let's talk about Gameweek 36. That is what we're here to do, after all. Let's start with Liverpool Stoke, because I feel like that is a key talking point. I feel like, and if I keep waxing lyrical about Mo, tell me to stop. But it's an important point, right? So I think I did tweet earlier that I think that Salah is going to play at the weekend.
Can I just stop you for a second?
Yes, go on.
Have you made notes?
I've made some notes, would you believe? I actually made some notes. So I was listening to all the pods, and I was on Twitter and stuff, and I was thinking, actually, some interesting points there. So I've genuinely got some notes.
I literally don't think that you've ever made notes.
Well, plus I knew that I was going to be struggling to get here and back on time to do the stream at 9:15 when I said I was going to do it. So I was sort of sitting on the train, just like frantically scribbling away, doing some notes. So yes, I have done some preparation, would you believe?
Wowzers.
You can see from the live chat that Dave Smith is absolutely amazed by that. With the
I can't believe it.
So let's talk about Salah. I tweeted earlier that I think he's going to play. I stand by that. And the key, if you look at some of the things that have been said about him and by Klopp over the last few weeks. So Klopp came out after the West Brom game, and you could tell after the West Brom game he was wound up. So in his post-match, he didn't want to kind of come across as I'm really gutted, because he got a point at West Brom. West Brom did actually play well last few minutes, but you could tell he was peeved by that, because I think what he was thinking was, we win that game and then we go into the Stoke game and he can rest everyone knowing that if we get 1 point, we're fine. But now we're in a position where we need 4 points from 3 games. Mm-hmm. So if we go to that, if Liverpool go into that Stoke game with a B team and drop points, suddenly the pressure is on the Chelsea game. We've got to go to Chelsea away in 37.
Because that's actually a very big game, because you're talking about they need the points and you can't afford to drop them. So
it's a big game if we drop points against Stoke.
Yeah.
If we beat Stoke, it's less important. We've got to go there, and even if we lose, it then kind of takes we've got to get a draw against Brighton at home on the last day, which you'd like to think. So all of that goes to say, in my opinion, it's not mathematically done. Klopp has come out and said that it's not mathematically done. He's going to play him. He doesn't need 2, big pressure points around the team. There's already so much pressure on the Champions League. Right? We've got to win that now. We've got to go out to Rome and finish the job. There's a Champions League final at stake. He needs the league to just take care of itself. So I think, given that he hauled Salah off on 70 minutes as well, that gives him... That's in his head, I think he's like, well, I'm going to rest him a little bit here and not risk any injury. Of course, if he plays against Stoke, you risk him getting injured, and then you're in big trouble, potentially, for the rest of the season. But I personally, having seen and read what I have over the last few weeks, I think he starts.
See, I think Salah is probably the one I'm least worried about not starting at Liverpool. I think there's...
Really?
Yeah, I just think he'll play him. Of all of them, I think he wants to play. He's not showing any signs of needing a rest, is he? That man is like a machine.
What was interesting, actually, in the game last night was when he bought Salah off. And tell me if I've got this wrong, guys. I think I've got this right. He put Ings on. He put Ings wide. Mm-hmm. So what that tells me is that actually in the Mane and Salah positions, we haven't got a lot there right now. Lallana is injured. Ox, who can play there, prefers the middle but can play there, is now injured. So in terms of options, particularly on that left-hand side, he can play Firmino there. I get that, but
not as well.
But really, he's got to play Mane there. And on the right-hand side, who's he got? I mean, he could play Ings there based on the substitution he made last night. But I don't know. But Ings and Solanke with Mane, I mean...
Don't you think Ings is more likely to take Firmino's place? Firmino played the whole game last night.
Yes, and actually it worked reasonably well against West Brom for 60, 70 minutes. Ings actually had a pretty good game, I thought. And just, he ran around like an absolute nutter. He was knackered after an hour, so he did come off. Yes, I think Firmino is the one that may get a rest at the weekend, although he was rested against West Brom, so it's less likely. I mean, I actually don't know why we're talking about all this. Anfield Express is going to leak. They're going to leak it, you'd like to think, and then we will know, right? But in terms of preparing your team...
But I think what we're saying is that Liverpool will beat Stoke, you would think.
With or without Salah, you'd like to think we will, but yes...
I feel like Liverpool are Salah.
Liverpool are Salah.
I mean, you look at you last night, watching that game last night, for 70 minutes, you were absolutely... Well, actually, I take that back, because for the first 20 minutes, you were very nervous. So for 50 minutes, you were excellent, really excellent. And then Salah went off, and it just changed the dynamic of the team, and it just didn't work quite as well. And I think against Stoke, in a game where you need to win, you don't not play the man that's guaranteed to score your goals.
So I disagree with that to a degree, because Salah came off, and that maybe changed the mentality of both teams. Actually, maybe Roma got a bit of a boost by him going off. You can see the fullback was just like, "Thank God he's gone," and now I've got this.
Because he
Danny
wasn't booked. Right? He was booked as well, wasn't he? So
I think so. Yeah. So maybe it changed their mentality. But for me, the reason we conceded those 2 goals, one was that
Lovren.
Yeah, so the Roma mentality might have changed, but actually the Liverpool, we took our foot off the gas. It was almost like, right, the game's done now, and Roma sensed that they could get something, and fair play to them. Nangolan put a great ball over, Lovren did a full-on Lovren, got caught underneath it, and Zeko does what Zeko does. The second goal is nonsense, not a penalty, nowhere near a penalty, but he's given it. And then we kind of, saw out the storm in the last few minutes. So I don't necessarily think you can go out there and say, because Salah went off, Liverpool conceded 2 goals.
I'm not saying that him going off meant that you conceded 2 goals. All I'm saying is that as a team, when Salah doesn't play or when he's not on the pitch, I don't think you look as good. And I think,
of course, yeah, of course.
But the reason I think that is not necessarily because of his goals and what have you, because obviously they speak for themselves. But I think what Salah does is he gives you an outlet away from your defence, and your defence at best is shaky at times.
Yeah, I think you're doing the other guys a massive disservice. You look at what Firmino and Mane are doing. Firmino's as good at holding up the ball as anybody and bringing others into play.
But I just think that the way Salah plays and his positioning on the pitch and the way he looks for other people, he's just that bit closer to the defence than Firmino.
All right, so in terms of FPL, keeping or selling Salah?
Keeping.
Yeah, me too. If Anfield Express leaks on Friday night that he's not playing in that Stoke game, he's not starting, then keeping or selling?
Well, I've already made a point here, so I don't know.
That's when it gets difficult, isn't it? Because even in 37, you think, Chelsea away, fair enough, but he can score against Chelsea away. Of course he can.
The bottom line is, if he goes, he's gone for the rest of the season, because I can't take any more points hits to get him back.
Yes.
So I have.
He's at 10.5 now, isn't he, or something?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and also I just can't keep taking points hits every time he's in and out of the team.
Okay.
So for
if
me,
you sell him, he's gone.
If I sell him, then I'm selling him and he's gone. So I need to be. The difficulty for me comes if on Friday night Liverpool Express say, or the Anfield Express say, he's not playing, then I have to decide what to do with him, because I could sell him and take another 4-point hit, but then I've got to get somebody that's guaranteed to get me at least 4 points back again.
Yes.
And that's somebody that's probably going to play 2 games in the double. Okay. So it's hard.
All right. So I think unanimously here in the FPL family, we are Salah keep. If Anfield Express comes out and say that he's not starting against Stoke, I think we're still keep. I think I am. I mean, I can't, as a Liverpool fan, I can't take him out. I just love the man. I think he's amazing.
The other thing
he's got to stay.
I mean, is he... So even when Firmino hasn't started the game, he's always come on and got...
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so there's no reason why, if Salah doesn't start, that he won't come on for 30 minutes and still score 3 goals. Yeah. You know what he's like.
And as Josh quite rightly is saying, I'm going to come to the live chat to get your views in a minute on what you're doing with Salah. So Josh is absolutely saying, you want him for 33, Brighton 38, Brighton at home. That final game of the season, in front of the fans, farewell, we're off to the Champions League final, fingers crossed. That is, you want Salah for that, don't you? Home to Brighton in 38.
I want Salah.
You're frightened if you're not got in that game.
I want Salah for every game, and that's where it's tough.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get to the live chat. Let's see what you guys are saying about Mohamed Salah, the big, I think, talking point in FPL right now in terms of whether you're keeping or selling him. Let's see. Let's see. Let's go over here. And it's saying 10 goals and 7 assists for Bobby in the Champions League. How many's Kane got? Oof. Some shots fired there by Hamonit. Some shots.
Hamonit, we fell out a few weeks back. We were not going to go there again, are we?
I love that. Peter Gray saying no team is a one-man team. Well, yeah, I mean
that is true.
That's true. I mean, if you look at our front three, it's Salah is there absolutely, nailing it week in, week out. But the other two are, 2 goals and 2 assists for Firmino as well, I think last night, wasn't it?
I just think that from a fantasy point of view, a team without Salah feels much more frightening.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Because his points hauls every week are just obscene.
Yeah, let's see. PVFC is saying Moreno triple captain for a laugh.
Oh my goodness.
If Anfield Express comes out with Moreno, do we go there again?
No, you're not having...
Do we go there?
I'm putting my foot down. You cannot get Moreno anymore.
I think I said on the last vlog, that is me done. I flirted with him. Yeah. I didn't like it. We've had a bit of a Tinder date.
You've swiped the wrong way.
I've swiped right with Moreno. It's gone. Swiped right.
Right. Is that how you get rid? Right.
I think so, yeah. I think so. Neither of us would know, would we? So let's just see. Liverpool did fall apart when Salah came off. Yeah, but like I say, Josh, I think there was some other factors in there, like Lovren being full on Lovren and dodgy penalty decisions. Dom J, Lovren, the weak link. He wasn't. Do you know what? He actually had a really good game again last night. A really good game, and it's just a shame that he just make that one mistake that causes the goal. It's a real shame. Alan, it's saying the Welsh Prince Woodburn could play. Now, this is an interesting point because...
Oh, you said that last night.
It's an interesting point because actually the front three is the front three, and we've just talked about how short we are potentially for options there. Those three in the middle, we're short there as well now. Without Ox, without Chan. I mean, Wijnaldum actually came on, had a very good game.
No Lallana, of course.
No Lallana to play there. So Henderson, Wijnaldum, and... Oh, help me out. Henderson, Wijnaldum, who was there last night? Milner. So those three in the middle.
Yeah, but he's knackered. He's an old man now, Milner. He can't.
The guy's an absolute robot. He's a machine. So those three feel, you've got to have to play them really. So does he rest one of them and play like Ben Woodburn or something? Who knows? Potentially.
Because actually, I think Milner. Quite a lot of people were talking about getting on Milner because he's still classed as a defender in the game, isn't he?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I think so. And if Firmino doesn't play, maybe he's on pens. Although I guess Salah's going to get the pens. So let's see.
Well, it depends if Salah's playing, doesn't it? I can't see him resting Salah and Firmino though, really.
Unlikely
that they both don't play.
I wouldn't have thought so. And Josh is saying, does Solanke get a look in against Stoke? I think potentially. Yeah, potentially.
Well, Daniel's just scored.
And ME Fan TV, Ings must play at the weekend. I think yes. I think so, absolutely.
I think he
will play somewhere. He's either going to play instead of Salah on the right, or he's going to play instead of Firmino up top, in my opinion. I think
the Firmino role is more likely because I think that is where he's most comfortable and he plays better.
Okay, all right. So despite all of this Liverpool and Salah talk, for which we could fill an hour quite easily, we have the Anfield Express there to tell us what to do the day before. So we really do value that Twitter handle right now. So that's the Liverpool game covered. I don't want to talk any more about that. There's plenty of other things to talk about. Let's go and talk about. So we're going home win, I think, in that game, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
I think we are, and I hope that we are.
Well, I thought we were last week as well, but
I think that we are. I'm looking through the fixtures actually, and guys, tell us what you think. There's a few, and this is part of the notes I was writing. There's a lot of games in there that are potentially really boring. There's potentially some really dross games this weekend. Like if you think about who's already on the beach, I mean, there's plenty of teams on the beach. I was writing it down before, so. I think West Brom, despite the mini renaissance, they may be worth investing, but they're down at some stage, so possibly not. Stoke and Southampton have got something to play for, so you'd want to have a look at those teams. Brighton, Palace, West Ham, Huddersfield, and Swansea in that order going down the league, with Swansea being, I think, at most risk, then up to Brighton. So Brighton, Palace, West Ham, Huddersfield, Swansea, they've all got something to play for because they're not yet at the magic points number. They're certainly not over 40. Definitely about the 34 mark. So they've got something to play for. Need to win games.
Yeah.
So I'm now looking at those teams now, and I'm not looking at Leicester, Newcastle. Who else is in there? I can't even think. Everton potentially.
Watford.
Bournemouth. All these guys. Watford. Yeah, all these guys are they're done. They are done. They're just on the beach. Can't be bothered. So if you look at some of these games,
what's really interesting is everything that you've just said has informed my jammy pick decisions this week. So I've picked. So I went through and I thought about the teams that have got something left to play for, and the ones that are and of those who are playing teams that are on the beach, and picked.
Great, yes, I love that. I love that. We're going to talk about that in a bit. So if you think about the teams that I've said are still at risk, West Ham, Lanzini, Arnautovic, players like that. Crystal Palace, Zaha. I was going to say Benteke, no. Miljovic, potentially those
even
guys. Tompkins, Loftus, maybe. Brighton, Grosses, Kieran. So we've got plenty of options, I think. Despite these guys being down in the league, they need a couple of wins from somewhere.
I think you've also got to bracket into that Burnley, who are trying to get into a Europa League spot.
Yes, spot on. At a time when Arsenal really have got their eye off the Premier League
and
ball,
Chelsea,
in reality.
Because they've got the FA Cup still. They've not been on that great form lately in the league. So I think, with Arsenal and Chelsea, with their mind perhaps a little bit elsewhere, Burnley, if they can get 3 wins...
I tell you what, it's interesting though, because that Liverpool-Stoke game is the early game.
Yeah, if Liverpool... that's very unfair on you.
Oh, yeah, don't get me started about fixtures. But that early game, Chelsea will clearly be watching that game. If they're watching that game and we drop points, that gives them all the incentive they need to go to Swansea that evening
dinner time,
game, and get the 3 points. And if they do, suddenly we've got to go to Chelsea at possibly a difficult time, and because we're knackered after a trip to Rome, and we've got to get something, which is then a very difficult thing to do at Stamford Bridge. So that Liverpool game, I think, is going to determine what happens in that Swansea-Chelsea game. I think Swansea have got every chance against, like you say, a Chelsea side that not looking amazing. They've looked a little bit better last game, but they did drop a couple of goals against Southampton, even though they did win the game. So Chelsea a bit hit and miss. Swansea need the points, desperately need the points. Although if you look at the stats, Swansea's goal attempts, shots on target, and getting in the final third at the minute is awful. It's absolutely awful. So, I wouldn't back against the Chelsea clean sheet there. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right to look at teams that are in that relegation zone. They need to get a win against teams that are on the beach. Absolutely right. So with that in mind, I'm looking at something like Palace-Leicester and saying I would far rather invest in Palace than Leicester in that game. Far rather have Zaha than Mahrez. I mean, Mahrez he's already thinking about where he's going next year, isn't he? He's terrible.
I'm not saying anything about Mahrez. The only thing I will say, and I totally agree with everything you've just said, the only caveat I have to that is that Leicester have got a double next week. And so,
a nice double as well, right? Home to Arsenal and West Ham, I think.
So what I would be wary of is getting off Leicester for this game week, given that
I want rid of Mahrez. He's been woeful.
Yeah, but so for me, I've got Vardy. Now Vardy, even when
Vardy?
I'm keeping him, because even when Leicester are rubbish, Vardy pops up.
He still gets the goal, 85th minute winner, doesn't he? Yeah.
So for me, with a nice-ish game, Palace, you could score against Palace.
Yes.
In game week 36, and then a double in 37. It feels like the wrong decision to get off Vardy, because I had a straight choice really when I was getting off, when I was getting Jesus between Vardy and Firmino, and for me it came down to, Firmino hasn't got a double in 37. It's Chelsea, which it's difficult. There's no guarantee that Liverpool are brilliant, but there's no guarantee the goal comes from Firmino. There's Salah, there's Mane, there's so many players in that Liverpool team that could score, whereas at Leicester at the moment, Leicester score is Vardy.
Yeah. So if you had Mahrez, what would you be doing?
I'd get rid. But I'd swap him for somebody that had a double in 37. Or somebody that had really nice fixtures in 36 and 37, playing teams that were on the beach.
So the obvious transfer for me is Mahrez to Sterling. I don't have any Man City right now, and that is a big problem. I've looked at Sané. I mean, Sané was rested in the last game, so I'm kind of thinking that he's due a start. But I can't get over how dangerous Sterling is. He gets into those positions. Obviously, I'd like to look at Jesus as well. We said on the last vlog about how he's probably going to get starts between now and the end of the season, you'd think, in the last 4 games they've got to play. Simply because they don't really have anybody else in that position, with Aguero being injured. So Jesus looks like a good option. And maybe I do a Lukaku to Jesus, I don't know. But then Lukaku's got a double.
Nice double.
Yeah, I get it. But, I don't think he's as explosive.
No, that is
as
definitely
potentially,
true.
City are playing with the reins off. They're going to be doing 3 or 4 nils probably. I mean, you don't know that, but probably. Away at West Ham is a bit more difficult. West Ham at home, actually defensively, don't look too bad over the course of the last few months. They've looked reasonably sound.
And West Ham do have something to play for still. And
they need the points, quite right.
Because I actually nearly didn't take the points hit this week. But my issue was that he went up on Sunday night. He was going up again. Must have been last night, and I was like, how I lost the one on Sunday because I wanted to wait for Monday's game, and it was like, actually, how long can I keep waiting? Because if he keeps climbing in value in the way that he has been, because everyone's got the same thoughts that we have.
I'm surprised you're so talking about value as much. We've only got 4 game weeks left.
It's not it's not about building team value. It's about affording the guy.
Okay.
Like, I've actually just got to have the money to pay for him. And if he goes up too much, I can't pay for him, so I can't have him. And that's where my concern lies. It's, if he goes up by 0.2, 0.3, I can't afford him.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Okay. So JC is saying, I'm thinking of doing Mahrez to Silva. Like the look of that.
David or Bernardo?
I would guess David. I would guess. MU Fan TV is saying Sane has a rotation risk. I think they all are at this stage. Is the problem you've got? For me, Mahrez to Sterling looks more or less nailed on. I'm actually a couple of 0.2s away from doing that. So if I was gonna do that, I would need to take a hit to do it.
Oh, welcome to my world.
Yeah, indeed. But I do fancy. So let's go to that game next. Let's go West Ham, Man City. What's your view on that? What sort of team does Pep put out, and what sort of mentality do they go into that game with? They're done, they're finished. They're all gearing up for their party at home to Huddersfield next week. So do they go to West Ham and smash them 4-0, or do West Ham put in a performance and Arnie gets a couple of goals?
They don't smash them. I don't see West Ham getting smashed in that game. I think West Ham will put up a fight because they have to. They have to win the game, or they have to at least try and win the game.
They can't go out into that game with a defeatist mentality. No, they have to go
because
for it.
Then they will get smashed. If they walk out onto that pitch thinking, "Oh my gosh, they're the champions, we're going to lose 4-0," that's exactly what will happen.
But equally, if they go out and start attacking, that'll suit City, right?
It will, but at the same time, so West Ham are in a tough position because if they go out and try and just defend for 90 minutes, they can't. Not against City. You can't successfully defend. You can't park the bus against them for 90 minutes and keep them back. You can't. Not with that many quality attacking players in the team.
Sure.
I think City will win the game. I don't see it being massively high scoring, that game. I do think that Arnautovic could score in that game.
He could.
Lanzini could score in that game because City aren't watertight at the back. When they're going forward, they do make mistakes at the back, and they've been known to concede goals here and there. But I also believe that Pep is the type of manager that is not prepared to just coast until the end of the season. They've got nothing else to play for now because they've won the league. They're not in any of the Champions League's gone, the Cup's gone. So for me, I think he's going to put out decent sides to win the games because he wants to win the league by the most points he can. I think he wants to be up there looking down on everyone else, like look at us, look at what an amazing season we've had. And who would blame him for wanting to do that? And
there's some interesting picks in there as well. I mean, Benjamin Mendy come back from injury in the last game as well. So you've got to think that Pep's going to want to... I mean, he's his first choice left back, undoubtedly. I mean, they may go into the market in the summer, but I don't think so.
But he's not fit, match fit.
Yeah, but so the next 4 games surely are perfect opportunities to have a look at him and get him fit and ready for pre-season.
Well, but I should have thought that we'd be seeing half an hour, 40 minutes, maybe a half, maybe 60 minutes.
No way, I think he's going to play him, surely.
Do you think so?
He's got to have a look at him, right? He's not seen him all year.
So this is my issue with... So I nearly did a City defender this week, but I just can't work out who's going to play in the defence. I think they're even more of a rotation risk than the forwards. So
outside of Edison, it's difficult. And I don't know if you noticed, but on Twitter, Edison was coming out, or he's on some
wants to take
media
penalties,
channel.
Doesn't he?
He said that if there's a penalty, I'm up for it.
Yeah, I know.
Now I'm in a position where I got in David De Gea a few weeks back with looking at it, thinking, right, he is now locked in between now and the end of the season.
Free hit keeper, right?
So Edison was my free hit keeper. So now I've got David De Gea back. I'm not looking to spend a very, very valuable transfer on De Gea to Edison, despite the fact that they might get a pen and he might score it, and that would be epic. That would be epic. But I'm kind of made my bed with David De Gea, and I'm pretty happy with that bed, so I'm going to stick with it. But yeah, Man City players, I think we need them. But at the same time, you need a strong bench because at any point they could get rotated. So that game, go back to the game, West Ham at home to Man City. Your thoughts? Scores? Home win, away win?
Away win, but not a clean sheet. 2-1, 3-1, something like that.
Okay, very good. So let's pick out some other games then, because we're already 47 minutes through this vlog. Like I say, I'm not going to go through all these games because there's a few dead rubbers. I mean, Newcastle West Brom has got the potential to be absolute guff, hasn't it? Because Newcastle not really playing for anything. West Brom as good as dead. No, they're dead. They're dead.
But look, we've discussed this before. They're not necessarily playing to stay up, but they're playing for their new manager, and under him, they have had a mini resurgence. They don't want to just go down like a, rock bottom of the league or nothing. They're trying at the moment. You can't tell me they're not. Not points against United and Liverpool. They're trying. West Brom will win that game.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right. Swansea versus Southampton, I should say, against Bournemouth is a very interesting one because that's a South Coast derby. I know they're a little bit apart, aren't they? But they're both down there on the south coast.
Don't ask me about geography.
No, I know. Yes, I'll go there. Fairly a few miles apart down on the south coast.
Okay.
Bournemouth, well and truly, in my opinion, properly on the beach. Leaky is probably the best phrase to describe their defence. Very leaky would be another phrase. Southampton need the points. I mean, I don't like the look of Southampton lately, except for that, they played very, very well against Chelsea for a while, didn't they? Until they kind of bottled it a bit. But they do need the points, and they will be surely Southampton are looking at that game, Bournemouth at home, saying we have got to win this game. They cannot drop points in that game. Whether I look at an FPL asset like, I don't know, Tadic or Gabbiadini or I don't know, Austin, I don't know. None of those players really fill me full of joy. I don't know what their double looks like. Whether Southampton even got a double. So would you even draft anybody in?
Yeah, they do have a double.
So Southampton next week, let's see, away at Everton and then away at Swansea. So goodness me, Southampton have got the fixtures to get out of this, but goodness me, they need results. Goodness me, and I think they'll be looking at that game. So, do we draft in somebody from Southampton? I don't know. What do you think about Southampton?
No, I don't want to draft in anyone.
El Stato will be chuffed that you've just completely kiboshed his team.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a negative respect. Right. So the reason I don't want to get any Southampton players has actually got very little to do with Southampton and their ability to stay up or not, and more to do with the fact that there's a lot of other players that I think are just better in those positions and are more trustworthy in those positions. I'm yet to see anything from a Southampton player that would suggest that they're worth getting.
Okay, so my argument to that, and Amonit has quite rightly said, well, Cedric is an option. I mean, look at Cedric and the way that he's marauding forward lately. I mean, he's been given licence by the new manager to go forward, I think, and he got a couple of assists, I think, against Chelsea. Maybe got that wrong, but he's definitely been he's been in the FPL points lately. So of all of the slim pickings, I think you would put it in Southampton. I mean, Cedric does look like an option. Does seem to be getting in those difficult positions.
All right, I'll give you that one. But I just think, the likes of Austin and Gabbiadini and whoever else it was you mentioned, Tadic, I think.
Potentially not.
Got to be better out there, surely. Okay,
any other games that we want to pick out here? The Swansea-Chelsea game is a kind of intriguing one. I mean, Swansea, the same as Southampton, desperately need the points. They are hovering, right above that relegation zone. And Chelsea, like you say, they may or may not be buoyed by what goes on at lunchtime at Liverpool. But if Liverpool drop points, you've got to think Chelsea are going to be up for that.
Yeah.
Any Chelsea assets that you... I mean, what do you think of Willian? I mean, neither of us has got Willian, I don't think.
I've got no Chelsea now because I got rid of Alonso.
Okay, but Willian is a popular, I think, FPL pick right now.
Yeah.
They've got a pretty nice double. One eye on the cup, probably. Is Willian still a good pick in your opinion, or is he somebody that the guys should be getting off?
No, I think he's a good pick.
His underlying stats are there, right? If you look at it, he passes the eye test. He creates a lot of chances. He gets a lot of chances. He's been unlucky hitting the bar a couple of times. If you look at his heat maps, he seems to be getting it.
Yep.
So everything suggests that there's some FPL points coming for him. He just doesn't get them, and that's frustrating for his owners, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think they've still got something to play for in the league. They've still got to secure their fifth spot, or actually they've still got to try and play for fourth. Now the destiny's not in their own hands in that fourth race, because it means one of us has got to mess up, but we are prone to doing some stupid things, so it's, not unlikely. So they have to win those games. You are right in what you say about the FA Cup. That is definitely going to be weighing on their mind, but I think Willian is still a good pick, and if I had him, I certainly wouldn't be getting off of him before the double.
Okay. And from a Swansea perspective then, so go to the other side of that coin, they're fighting for their lives. I mean, a lot of you guys are saying in the live chat, I think Amwinit and a couple of other guys were talking about Jordan Ayew being a good pick. Actually, both the Ayew's potentially, but Jordan, I think, is on penalties and potentially a better FPL pick. And certainly one that I'm looking at, given that I'm looking to get rid of the dross that is Callum Wilson from my team.
Oh, you're not, are you?
Oh, he's got... Oh, God, just can't deal with him being in my team anymore. So Wilson to Ayew does look like a viable transfer for me. However, I go back to what I was talking about before in terms of the stats, their shots on target, they're getting in those areas. They're just not doing that, Swansea. They're not doing it. So do I want to bring in a Swansea player before that Chelsea game? No. But will I be scouting their team potentially? Fabianski is, I think somebody said, he's an FPL legend this year. Absolutely right.
It's true.
The only keeper that can get 2 bonus points by conceding 5 goals. Let's not go back there.
You're still angry about that?
I'm not angry about it. The Twitter community is genuinely very angry about that. So AU, Fabianski, Mawson, the other AU, potentially. I mean, there's some options there.
Yeah, I do think that he could be a good asset. Not for the Chelsea game, because I don't see Chelsea... Well, having said that, Chelsea do concede.
Okay. MU Fan TV. Lee, how do you still have Wilson? Trust me, I've got no idea. I don't know. It was so nice to see him out of my team last week in the free hit, and then he come back. I was like, oh God, you're still here. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like that.
I think if I was going to have a Swansea, I'd go for a Swansea attacker. As good as I think Alfie Mawson is, I don't ever see Swansea keeping another clean sheet.
Okay, all right.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, Man United versus Arsenal. I think
this is the big one.
It's a tricky one, that isn't it? Because most other weeks you'd be saying that's very, very important game. But for me, I'm not sure Arsenal are going to go into that game at full pelt. I mean, they're going to be, depending on how the first leg against Atletico goes, I guess that might change their mentality for that game. United are going to be looking at that going, well, if we can beat Arsenal, which they love doing, by the way. Love doing
everyone loves beating Arsenal.
So that more or less secures, I think, probably mathematically top four for them. United at home are very good. Arsenal away are pretty bad, as we've seen, form-wise. They've won or even scored a goal this year away from home. So, for me, that absolutely looks like a United home win. I can't see anything other than Arsenal going there and going through the motions. You agree with that? Okay. Yep. So on that basis, I'm thinking of
playing De Gea.
Oh, 100%, yeah. But for me, it's about whether I keep Lukaku and sell for Jesus.
Of course.
But on this, what I've just said, I'm keeping Lukaku. I think Lukaku will do all right against Arsenal, because I think Arsenal.
I love it when we have different strikers.
Yeah, I can't see Arsenal keeping a clean sheet there. They're so bad away.
I'm not playing my Arsenal defender. I'm not Mustafi, I'm not playing him.
And they've also, I don't know how bad the El-Neni injury is, but it means that they're now a little bit short in the middle of the field there. And if Ander Herrera can pull out a game like he did against Spurs, wasn't it, in the Cup? He was phenomenal.
Thanks for that.
So if he can pull out a performance like that again with the likes of El-Neni being missing, so then there's more joy for United in that game.
And I think this will be an interesting week leading into the double, because I've got Lingard at the moment still. So I'll be watching what happens in 36 as to whether Lingard starts. If he doesn't, and I fear that I'm not going to get a full, or at least involvement in both games, then he might be my change for next week.
And when it's saying Arsenal might turn up for Wenger, yeah, maybe, but I get the feeling in their, whatever is their last home game, I don't even know, but whatever their last home game is, you get the feeling there'll be a Wenger goodbye party there. Yeah. But for United away, I've got the feeling the fans will be, mid Atletico looking at that going, well, it's a bit of just a horrible game, we just got to get out of the way. I can't see them going there with the right mentality. And what else? I noticed another good point in there. El-Neni out for 3 weeks. Thank you for that, Lock On Kun. So Lock On Kun is here.
Oh, he's back.
How you doing, Aid? Good. Thanks for joining. Any more games you want to talk about there?
I just think it's worth... I'm not going to talk about this for very long, but it's just worth mentioning Spurs versus Watford.
Oh, of course, Monday night.
On the bench. Okay. Yeah, don't forget, I'm going.
Watford on the bench or the beach?
They're on the beach. They can be on the bench if they like, but they're on the beach. And
Spurs need the points, right? So
we really need a good game. We've had such negative results for the last couple of weeks now. We really need a good game and a solid performance.
So tell me, if Anfield Express come out and say Salah is not in the starting 11, who is your captain for the game week?
Who's my captain for the game week? Are you asking that as a serious question?
You going for a City player and potential Hall at West Ham, or are you going Kane?
Well, I'm going Kane anyway.
Despite the fact he's criminally out of form, Kane. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. Honestly, you guys will tell us in the live chat.
I can't go to a game and sit in the stands and not have captain my boy.
Is there a case for captaining Kane even if Salah starts?
I'm captaining Kane.
You are captaining Kane. Okay.
Come on, this is me.
Anfield Express says Salah starts at home to Stoke and you're still captaining Kane.
Against Watford at home, of course.
Oh, goodness me. That is... I'm now thinking of triple captain in Salah if he starts, because that's. So Jamal is quite right saying Kane is out of form. Tom Mason, Kane has been shocking lately.
Wait, boy.
Rivershan, Sam's face. Whereas Joe is saying it's Watford.
It's Watford. Joe, I'm sorry.
So Micah McClatchy is saying Kane triple captain against Watford.
Do you know, I've had a few people say that to me this week.
Wow, is it a terrible idea? Is it a terrible
idea?
Well,
I only think that it's not a great idea because next week he's got 2 nice games, Newcastle and West Brom. So it feels like the sensible decision to captain him this week. But I do think we'll win against Watford, and I do think Kane will score, and he will be my captain.
All right, very good. Okay, enough with the games. I want to talk about your jammy picks. Okay, I want to talk about your transfers you've done. And then we've just talked about your captain. Bearing in mind, we're at 58 minutes.
Fine.
And I know what you're like when you get on a transfer ramble.
Oh, no, it's easy, my transfers this week. It's fine. Right, so let's start with jammy pick. So basically, as I said to you before, what I did was I looked at the...
You went down Rondon?
Yeah, I've written down Rondon.
Yes, Rondon.
So what I've done is I've looked at the teams that have got something to play for versus the teams that have got nothing to play for, and I've picked from there. Okay, so the teams I've come up with are West Brom against Newcastle. They've got something to play for, West Brom.
Yes.
Palace versus Leicester. Burnley and Brighton. To be fair, they've both got something to play for.
Burnley and Brighton.
Because Brighton are quite out of it, and Burnley have still got the Europa League, and then obviously Spurs and Watford, and then I have to narrow it down to the players that are under 5%.
Okay,
which leaves me with Rondon or Rodriguez at West Brom.
Are they jammy picks under 5%? I suppose.
Yeah, 1% and 2.2%.
Well, out of those two, we've got to have Rondon, haven't we?
Yeah, Loftus-Cheek, who I've actually not written down... Loftus-Cheek from Palace, so I've not written down what his percentage, but he's about...
starter now, Loftus-Cheek?
Well, he started for the last 4 games.
Okay. So interested to hear what Jamal thinks about that as a jammy pick.
I just think that I'm not sure about that one, because I think millions are better options, but obviously they're owned by more than 5%.
Who else on your shortlist?
Burnley, it's Wood and Goodmanson who are under 5%. I think Goodmanson could be a really good option.
Yeah, both good picks.
And then at Spurs, there's nobody apart from Trippier who's under 5%. Now, he could...
Does he start?
Well, I think he probably will start, yeah.
Okay.
But my jammy pick this week, just because it can't be anybody else.
It'll be Rondon.
It's got to be Rondon.
Can I throw one in the mix?
No. It's Rondon. Yeah,
I'm going to anyway. So I just think so West Ham are in that pool of teams that we're saying that not quite out of it, need the points.
Yeah.
I agree with you what you said before. I do think there's goals in that.
Yeah, for both sides.
For Man City, might do a bit of rotation at the back. Mendy might not be quite up to speed yet.
Yeah.
Of course, I fancy Arnautovic in that game. But last couple of games, I've had a look at Masuaku.
Okay.
And Masuaku...
What's his ownership, do you know?
No idea, but I think it's low. I think it's low because he's coming off the back of that ban, right?
Yeah, it can't be over.
No, so he's earlier in the season he was marauding forward and he was on everybody's...
I love the word marauding tonight.
I do like that one. Yeah, I just genuinely like that one. But he was marauding forward, wasn't he, a lot, and everybody was either had him or on the radar of Masuaku.
Yeah.
And then he obviously did that horrendous spitting thing, got banned for a bunch of games, and he's kind of just slunk back into the team and no one's really noticed. But in the last couple of games that he's played, you look at his heat maps, you look at how far forward he's getting.
Okay.
Very, very good. So I fancy Masuaku for the Hammers. Another one, obviously we've mentioned Mendy. Could be a jammy pick because he's going to be well under 5. No one's got him back yet, but he is going to get game time, I think, in that game.
Okay.
But also, if you look at what Liverpool might do in terms of rotation, so Solanke, potentially a jammy pick. Ings, I guess, is going to get some game time. He's going to be under 5%. Dare we say Moreno again? Dare we go there again as a jammy pick? I'm not going to go there again. So lots and lots of jammy picks because I get the feeling rotation is going to be rife in some of these games. But Rondon is the one you're going to pick, right? It seems fitting. It seems very fitting.
I feel that we've kind of come full circle, and I need to end it with. I need to,
Very good. Okay, very good. Very good. Transfers this week. Talk me through.
Okay, so they're very straightforward. Actually, I have done Firmino to Jesus.
Firmino to Jesus. Okay. Yes. Very good.
I don't think I really need to explain why it's felt like the right thing to do. The other one that I've done, I had to get rid of Alonso because he was banned.
You had to get rid of Alonso?
Well, he was banned for this week and he was dropping in value, and I'd had enough of him. To be quite frank, he's annoyed me so much this season. It was time for him to leave. And the other reason I had to get rid of Alonso is I needed to free up some money to get Firmino to Jesus. But I also wanted to have enough money left in my bank that if Lingard or Son isn't going to play in the doubles, because I think they're both rotation risks for the doubles,
yes,
that I would have at least £1.5 million in the bank so that I could do Son to Ali or Ericsson or Sterling, and I could do Lingard also up to whoever I wanted.
So what are the transfers you've done? Alonso out and Firmino out?
Yeah, and I've got Baines.
Baines?
And
really?
Jesus.
Baines?
Yeah, because... And the reason I've got Baines is because he was cheap than Alonso, and
he's not cheap. He's cheaper.
Saved me the money I needed. I was going to go for a real cheapie, but actually, if you look at Everton's fixtures, they've got Huddersfield this week, who have got absolutely nothing to play for, and I can see that being a boring.
Really? Of course they have. They're in trouble. Huddersfield.
No. I can't see Huddersfield getting anything out of that game. I really can't.
Goodness me, this is outrageous.
I can see that being boring. So, basically, I just needed to free up some money, so I went for the best.
Yes.
The best sort of middle of the fives defender I could get.
God,
so that's where I am.
And they've got no double next game week?
They've got no double, but I don't need him to have a double.
Oh my goodness me. What is this? This is...
Well, I'm not bench boosting, am I? I'm triple captaining, so I only need 11 on the double.
When does Alonso come back from his ban, though?
Next week.
In the double?
Yeah, but I don't want him.
All right, okay, all right. Well, who am I? I mean, you're up in the 8Ks and I'm down in the doldrums, so who am I to question that transfer policy? But that isn't.
I don't need him to play in the double, so it's fine.
Okay. But
I wanted the money there for... I feel like that money with Alonso has been kind of just wasted over the last few weeks, and I needed it for the midfield, so that's where we are.
Okay, all right.
Of course, this all blows out of the water again if Salah suddenly doesn't play, because then I got another...
Well, you're going to have to possibly take another hit. I mean, so I've not done a transfer yet this game week, but I've had a look at my team. Let's bring it up, because there is definitely some dross in there that I want to get rid of. But I think I want to roll my transfer because I want another week's worth of information. Some of the dross that I want to get rid of might not actually do too bad. So I'm not calling Lukaku dross, but he's one that potentially I would look to move on for Jesus for the double. But
United have got a really nice double.
But I fancy him against Arsenal, and they've got a decent double. So if he bags a couple against Arsenal, I might keep him as a differential, despite liking Jesus. I do want to get rid of Mahrez for sure. I mean, I do want to get rid of him, despite the nice double. Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe. But like I said, if I got rid of him, I'd want to get rid of him for Sterling. And if I did that, I've got to do a -4 to do that. So maybe not.
That's where I was with the -4.
The other thing is that my defence is looking pretty shocking for the double game week. So Chilwell on the double Leicester doesn't look too bad. Van Dijk is at Chelsea, so don't really fancy him for that for a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Schindler, Huddersfield are on a double, but it's a horrendous double. They're away at City and somewhere else, so I don't fancy that. Firmino, I think, has actually got an alright game, but it's a single game. And Lowton, I think, has got a ish game, but it's a single game. So I've got very, very few double game weekers there in my back line. Now, I'm probably only going to play 3 of them in the reality in 37. So I'm having a look at Swansea defenders. I'm potentially having a look at, you guys mentioned him before, Cedric Suarez. I'm having a look at Cedric for Southampton because I think they've got a nice double.
Okay.
So I'm interested. I'm looking to see.
Feeling your way.
I definitely want rid of Wilson. I definitely want rid of Mahrez, and I definitely want to revolutionise that back 5 a little bit. But at the same time, I don't think my team is in too bad shape for this game week. So I'm going to get through this game week, roll the transfer, going into the double with a mini wild card. I can look at Jesus, Sterling. I can see who was rested for City in 36. Therefore, are they potentially a bit more game time in 37?
Who knows?
Who knows? Not a clue. Does Mendy have a blinder in 36 suddenly become essential for 37? Who knows? So I think I want to save.
Okay.
Right. Joe is saying keep Kiko. Yeah, I think you're right, Joe. I think you're right. I mean, for me...
Just don't play him against Spurs.
Yeah, I don't fancy him this game week, but next, although it's a single, I think they've got a nice game. So we'll see.
Okay.
So that's where we are. Top points pick. Difficult one, isn't it, with all this rotation? I think I've got to go for the Egyptian King if he plays. I think you have to, don't you?
Right.
But I do fancy... sorry, Joe, again, I do fancy Spurs, but again, I don't fancy Kane so much. Eriksen, I think, is a great pick for this week. I think he's a good pick.
I said that to Jeff.
Son looks a good pick. Always looking dangerous.
Just worry about him as a rotation risk still.
You've got nothing really to play for now, though, right? He's
we don't, but
Does he have a look at Moore a bit more? Does he have a look at Lamella a bit more? Yeah, maybe, I don't know. So for me, I think Eriksen is going to play every game for
Eriksen will.
That's
what I said to Jeff.
Quality player.
Jeff,
and I do, outside of the usual Salahs and Lukakus and Kanes, I fancy Eriksen for some points there at home to Watford on Monday night.
All right.
That is about it, guys, I think. That is a whistle-stop tour.
And we'll see you again on Sunday before the Spurs game on Monday.
So we won't know.
We never finish a game week anymore, do we?
So we won't know how your Kane captain is going to go. Presumably that's what you're going to do.
Well, you'll not hear me from the game.
I will be very interested to hear whether your tactic changes. If Anfield Express come out and say Salah is definitely starting, I'll be really interested to see whether you continue to captain Kane. I think you will. I think you will, because now you've said it. You've said it now, so you've got to go with it.
I said last week that I'm captaining Kane. If I'm at the game, I captain Kane.
Okay, all right. And I think it absolutely could work out for you. I mean, Kane is, we all know he's claiming everything, right?
For goodness sake, man!
But he really wants that golden boot. You can tell the players want him to get the golden boot.
It, yeah, they do. We'll see. Let's see what happens on Monday night. Look, it can't be any worse an experience of going to Wembley than it was on Saturday, so let's go from there.
I hope for your sake it's not. I hope for your sake it's not,
because otherwise I'll be chewing your ear off when I get home again.
So we will see you guys again on Sunday when Game Week 36 will be pretty much done.
And we talk
except
about
for
doubles.
the Spurs game, and then we can start talking about on Sunday night the doubles in 37, and it's going to be another interesting game week, isn't it? I hope 34, whenever the last double was, I think it's 34. For me, was a bit of an anticlimax.
For me.
Well, you did. You did absolutely fantastically well. For most people, it was a little bit of a rotation nightmare.
Yeah.
And then the free hit week, I thought was really good fun. 36 is a bit of a. It's almost like a bit of a take a breather. I think that's why I want to roll the transfer. I was taking a bit of a breather from all these hits and transfers. And then in 37 we go again.
Okay.
Full on double. And then it's 38 and it's Salah captain, it's easy in it. And then we're going to have we're crowning our champions. We're going to find out which one of us is going to win our little battle between you and I.
Is that a serious thing?
I think we know what the answer to that is.
You still think you're going to catch me?
No, not a hope in hell. Not a hope in hell.
All right, come on then.
But if I triple captain Salah this game week for his quadruple against Stoke
you're
at home.
You're not going to triple captain Salah. You're mad.
So listen, guys, good luck for game week 37. We will see you on Sunday night
36.
when we will.
Good luck for game week 36.
Good week for 36. We will see you on Sunday night where we'll talk. We'll review 36 very quickly, I think, and very quickly get to strategies for the double and whether there's any chips to be played. If you like the videos, as ever, hit that like button. We'd love you to do that, and absolutely hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed the video tonight. At FPL Family on Twitter, as usual. I will see you there throughout the week. At FPL Family on Instagram as well, where you can talk to Sam and interact with her on through that medium. Until then, good night. Thank you for joining, and we will see you again on Sunday. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
See you later, guys. Have a good one.